Well, welcome
and
to...
that's the podcast.
Okay. I guess I'll just continue without him. Welcome to episode 21 of the Dude Wrong Door official podcast. It is the Halloween special, which is going to be going up on Halloween a day late, and that's the excuse I'm going to use for that.
And you'll die 7 days from now after listening to this.
Yeah. Just being fair with that info. We don't want to, we don't want that to sneak up on you. Yeah, have your affairs in order. Also, like, if you've listened this far in, it's already too late, so you might as well, stick around.
Yeah, you did.
You're doomed.
Nani?
Nani? Omae wa mau shinderu.
We're a bunch of weebs now, I guess.
Yeah. No, that's true. At least it is for me. But it's also a meme, and everyone can get away with memes.
That is very true. Speaking of memes...
oh boy, I love this segue.
This isn't speaking of memes. This is actually... I was not going to mention anything about this.
The real surprise this Halloween is disappointment.
Yeah, well, big disappointment if you're a Kevin Spacey fan.
Oh,
but
right.
I wasn't gonna mention this at all because of the just it's a sensitive subject, and
boy, I was gonna. If you didn't.
I'm not trying to I'm not trying to get into all that. But Netflix has canceled House of Cards.
Oh, okay.
They've canceled House of Cards, and they're pulling some Netflix original film he was supposed to be in.
I mean, yeah.
About Gore Vidal. So, moving on from that, Ron Howard reportedly reshot almost all of the Han Solo movie.
Right? Really?
Yeah, it's
almost all.
Almost everything.
When is that movie coming out? Isn't it coming out next year?
I honestly don't care. May 25th. Yeah.
They're saying it's coming out next year still?
Yeah, wrapped up production, which is still set to be released on May 25th. He's going to end up having a sole credit, or sole director credit.
Huh. Well, I guess that's what you get for doing the entire movie again. I'd argue you kind of deserve the sole director credit.
According to an estimate, Howard reshot about 80% of the film. I mean, this is basically all kind of rumor, but it's more of like an inside scoop.
It's also all we're going to get. Yeah. So we might as well go off of rumor. And an official statement from Hollywood is basically worthless.
I mean, it's probably going to be a crap film still. So
yeah, I don't have hopes for it.
Even with Ron Howard and Donald Glover,
Yeah, okay. I feel like if I find out that Lando Calrissian is a co-star for the entirety of this movie, I think I could go see it in theaters. And if the reviews are oh man, it's amazing, and it'll it's not at all what you expected, it's the best of the Star Wars spin-off films, then I'll go see it. But right now I have no confidence, and I don't even think a trailer could convince me otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be even with all that being said, people really enjoyed the prequels when they first came out.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
So every time I hear it, I'm just I don't know about that. I don't know about all that noise.
Honestly, there's a video montage. I think it might still be on YouTube, and I could link it in the description. But it was a montage of all of the reactions to The Phantom Menace.
Oh yeah,
after people had seen it, and there was one dissenter saying, "I think it was offensively bad, and George Lucas owes me an apology." I was just the one woke man back in the 90s.
I mean, it would be hard to. I don't know.
That guy was me coming out of The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, but you didn't wait 30 years for The Dark Knight Rises.
That is 20 years. That is a very, very good point.
I think for me, I would have been so hyped on just seeing it.
Yeah, I definitely...
that I would have missed it completely.
And I mean, when it came out, of course I liked it because I was a kid.
Yeah, same.
So...
I was unfortunately a stupid kid.
Yeah, well, most are. No offense, kids, but you're
we don't
probably
need you
an
kids.
idiot.
Any kids that are listening to this are a bunch of dummies.
Oh man, that's. I don't want to lose all of our entire kid audience.
Probably our entire audience, if we're being honest with ourselves.
Yeah, probably.
They love them Bill Cosby jokes, I tell you what.
I guarantee you, if anyone's going to laugh at a Bill Cosby joke, it's going to be a teenager.
Probably.
Anyway.
Yeah, do you have anything to move on to from Star Wars? Oh, well, while we're on Star Wars,
okay.
Adam Driver allegedly spoiled Rey's heritage, or possibly did. But
oh my gosh, guys, stay off the internet until Last Jedi comes out. In the video, right? Oh wait, everyone who listens to this is gonna die in 7 days. They don't gotta worry about it.
Oh yeah, it'll be fun. No, I read the article. It was an interview with GQ.
Oh, the best.
I didn't. Actually, I like GQ sometimes. Anyway, I
don't even know what I meant by that. I think I just don't see much from. I don't get my news from GQ, so I assume it must be bad.
They have good interviews sometimes, but the thing, the way I see it is, it's so like tight-lipped that like during those interviews, like Disney has to sign off to like publish those interviews. Like if Adam Driver does an interview about Star Wars, like Disney has to sign off saying that like it's okay for GQ to publish it. Like everything in that interview is okay to say.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I'm thinking what he said. I read the article.
That's a problem. I'm not going to read it. Thank you for taking that bullet. Because I don't. Well,
that's
anything.
What I'm saying is it's not even. I think his word choice is not. He wasn't. I don't think he was referencing her like heritage at all. Like
yes,
I think
but I'm also overly sensitive, and I might think that this being okay means that this isn't the case, and I don't want to know if it isn't the case.
Yeah, no, I get you, but I'm saying when people are like, "Oh, he spoiled her origin," I'm like, no, he's more using like broad terms. Like he's using like a very like broad like stereotype for like archetypal terms.
Okay.
And everyone's like, no, this is... I'm like, nah, he's just... I was like, they would have never signed off on it.
Y'all chill.
Yeah, like, if he had actually said something, they would have never signed off on it.
Well, I mean, think about how many things Tom Holland spoiled.
Tom Holland does that, like, live, though.
That's a good point. Okay.
Tom Holland's just a happy little boy.
He's a compulsive spoiler. You know, it's funny, because he's like, what? He's not much younger than us. Yeah, as of today, he's only a year younger than me.
I think. Oh, yes, happy birthday.
Thank you. Don't let anyone know that we were recording this the day before.
Oh,
It'll ruin the moment.
Let's see.
I can go on to something that has to do with Halloween.
All right. Well, are we going to do video game? Tom Holland's only 21.
Oh, he's only 21? Okay.
Yeah.
He is still he's a tiny little boy in everyone's eyes.
Tiny little boy.
This has to do with Halloween news. Okay. This isn't like our thing that we're going to do later. Stay tuned for that. We're going to talk about some silly Halloween-themed stuff. But this is new Halloween movie will forget every other sequel, John Carpenter says. And he is executive producing, and he's going to score it. So it's still going to be him doing the music for it, even though he's not directing it. Ooh, I have kind of a fun story to spring off of that I'll hold on to until you react to it.
Wait, it's
ignoring every single sequel.
So even the second one?
Looks like it.
Oh, that's trash. Never mind.
Is it trash?
Not interested. Yeah, the second one's the best one. Like, you can totally forget. I'm totally off board at this point.
Oh,
I'm jumping ship. The first one's great, but the second one like ties them together. Like the first and second one are basically one movie. Like not having the second movie, like because the second one takes place immediately after the first one. Like it picks up like the second after like the first one ends. And in my opinion, it ties it together well. It's kind of like having. It would be like if they made a sequel to Kill Bill Volume 1 and just pretended the second one didn't happen.
Yeah,
so it's kind of just
I would be off board for that.
That's how it is. Which I know you don't have the attachment to Halloween that I do.
Yeah.
But
but now I understand what you mean. Now I understand the
that's
deflation.
Pretty much the equivalent, in my opinion. I mean, I guess I'll still go watch it. I mean, I'm gonna go watch Jigsaw. So
yeah,
what sort of pride do I have?
I'm kind of feeling like I'm gonna go see Jigsaw because everyone's telling me that it's not at all what they expected, and I'm hearing good stuff about it.
That's what I've heard. I heard it's like completely rebooted. I hear that it's more. I mean, it's still a sequel technically, or requel, but
yeah. Trademarked. That is our property. That term, regal.
Booyah. The editing is supposedly way different because Saw had that like really gritty and when they were in the trap, it would be like 1,000 different cuts in like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Apparently,
which
that's
has
all gone.
Not aged well, in my opinion.
I'm rewatching them right now. That was what I'll talk about that towards the end.
Okay.
But apparently that's pretty much gone, and there's less gore. Like it's not as focused on the gore.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Basically what the original Saw movies were. The original Saw movies, like a lot of the fan base they were able to get outside of like horror fans was people who were interested in the traps because they were pretty creative.
Yeah. Well, I still.
And apparently, that's it's a completely different ballgame for Jigsaw. I
still hold that the traps only get better as it goes on, just because they were forced to get more creative.
Yeah, I agree. Even though the movies got exponentially worse, that aspect of it, they were still kind of pushing themselves to have fun with it.
I think the second one is the best one. Which we'll talk about that later, but...
Okay, yeah. John Carpenter still doing the score for it, not directing. He's executive producing. And executive producers, that usually means you're even further off the set than a regular producer would be. Like, executive producer just means your money was there. You basically never stepped foot on the set.
Yeah.
But... the whole thing with him doing the music, I think that's funny because I learned last week after watching The Thing that the score that was supposedly made for The Thing basically never got used except for like a couple parts here and there, and the rest of it was just John Carpenter strumming on a guitar to do that dong dong.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Don't. Like, it's actually John Carpenter doing most of the score, but he gave himself no credit for it. He gave all the credit to the guy whose score was not used until they used most of it for The Hateful Eight.
Whoa.
The Hateful Eight is using a repurposed score that was originally made for The Thing. And what I want to happen now, I want someone to gut the Hateful Eight score out of it and apply it to The Thing, and just to see how it would turn out.
Someone will do that like now. There's no way that doesn't happen.
That's
totally going to happen.
I think maybe
that's pretty cool. I
should look for it.
I hope someone just guts the Hateful Eight.
I was gonna. We don't like that movie. Just so everyone knows.
That's
the joke.
It has its positives, but it has a lot of negatives.
It's fine, but fine is kind of devastating for a Tarantino movie. However, kind of springboarding off of that, I was recently reminded how much just thinking about Treasure Planet makes me cry, because I watched this video essay. In fact, I could leave a link to that. But it's about how Treasure Planet was basically killed by Disney. The score for Treasure Planet, because it was like a failed movie, the score was then repurposed, and I remember noticing this. It was repurposed for, I think it was The Secret of NIMH? Something like that. Some movie like that. Or NIMH's Island. It had NIMH in it. But it got, like, its score got repurposed for that, and it had even already been used in Treasure Planet, but because it was such a commercial failure, they were like, no one's going to notice, no one's going to care. And I think that movie was also a commercial failure, so maybe they were like, I think this score is cursed.
I'm pretty sure that's Rainn Wilson.
Secret of NIMH was definitely Rainn Wilson. I don't know if that's the one that it was used for.
It's NIMH's Island. Wait. No, NIMH's Island seems to be something different. Yeah, NIMH's Island doesn't have Rainn Wilson in it.
Yeah, it was something where like there was a girl on an island, like a young girl who was like surviving on an island. She had a bunch of animal friends.
Wait, isn't The Secret of NIMH that like animated movie from like the 80s?
You're right. Then what the heck was the Rainn Wilson thing? Because I knew what you were talking about, and that's what I thought it was. Secret of NIMH was like a mouse movie or something.
Yeah, there was like a giant crow.
Are we stupid?
Yes. We ain't smart, if that's what you're asking. Maybe Rainn Wilson wasn't in it. Maybe The Last Mimsy.
That's what it was.
All these darn M's
this lexicon
and
of absolute legends.
Welcome to the Last Mimsy podcast, where we discuss Rainn Wilson.
He was in what was it? Shimmer Lake. I keep wanting to think Shutter Island, but nah. Shimmer Lake was a recent Netflix original film that was starring Rainn Wilson. It was fine, kind of a Halloween movie in a way. It was sort of a suspense horror thing.
He was in, speaking of Rainn Wilson and Halloween, he was in House of a Thousand Corpses. Rob Zombie's.
I still haven't seen that.
He's not in it for long, I'll tell you that.
Okay. He kind of had his... He had like the fame from The Office, but then he had like a short little burst there after he did The Rocker. He like started getting a lot of roles and kind of more serious stuff. It's kind of died out since then. It's a shame. I think he's a good actor. Anyway, do you have any more TV or movie news to discuss?
Stranger Things 2 has came out, but I haven't watched it.
Okay. I haven't watched it either. I am hearing that it's getting really mixed reactions, actually. Which
I haven't heard anyone say that. I maybe have had something spoiled for me.
Oh, okay.
I won't mention it, but
I know that people say that it starts off really, really bad. But according to some people, it becomes amazing, and they were like, I can't believe I ever doubted it, and it's like better than the second season. And then some people are like, it's kind of mediocre compared to the first, which, to be fair, the first is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, that is.
The first one, feels like, man.
Oh, it's only 9 episodes?
Oh, that's interesting.
The first one's only 8 episodes. What?
It was a mini series.
Yeah, but I swore it was long. I thought it was like 13 episodes. Huh. That's interesting.
I remember liking how it never overstayed its welcome. The original, yeah. I mean. But yeah, I've seen mixed reactions. I've seen some really strong reactions that say that they hate it, but people aren't saying that they hate it because it's poorly made. They're saying they hate it because of the story decisions that are made. So, like...
Well, somebody does, then.
Oh, yeah, probably.
That's gotta be it. Like, one of them's gotta, like, bite the dust pretty hard. It's, surely to God, it's not one of the 4 boys.
I mean, this would be a reason that I would get upset at it, or they bring someone back in some stupid way, like that really gets under my skin, and I could also see that happening.
I don't want to spoil anything, but
well, surely not.
There aren't a ton of people you could bring back
from the first season.
Yeah, there's only one that I can think of.
I'm saying maybe someone dies at some point in season 2, and then they come back later. Like, okay. I cannot stand that.
I don't hate it if it's done well.
Sure, but it's really hard to do well, in my opinion. I think it's even when people like think they've got it down, it just. And I know I'm also kind of the fringe opinion on this. Like, I don't like seeing the hero come back to save everyone after everyone thought he was dead. I just feel like that's manipulative at best.
It depends on the movie.
Yeah.
If it's like a big action thing, then yeah, come on back.
Yeah, if it's like Fast and the Furious, I won't care. But for something like Stranger Things, where death should matter because there's like suspense,
yeah,
I don't think you should do something like that. However, regardless of all this speculation, I'm still like extremely excited to see the show, and I've avoided literally every trailer. I've not seen anything about it. I'm going to be going in completely cold, save for the reactions I've heard from people that I've interacted with since it came out.
Yeah.
There was same. One of my friends that I was talking to binged the whole thing the night that it came out, and he said he did not like it. And I usually kind of trust his opinion on stuff.
Well, there's where you're wrong. Trusting anyone's opinion on anything.
That's a good point. I shouldn't do that. I'm just going to ignore everything he said. Yeah, forget it. He doesn't even listen to this podcast anyway.
Wow, how rude. Anyone who doesn't listen to this podcast is rude. I want y'all to know that.
Yeah, and if you're hearing this, that means you're not rude. Congratulations, you're a nice guy. Also, you're still going to die in 7 days. Sorry about that. But
yep, my bad.
At least we were upfront about it.
I thought it would be fun. Thought it would be cool. I don't know. Guess not.
Yeah.
Some people want to live. Who would have thought?
Yeah, I mean, if you would have asked me, just cold, hey, you're going to die in 7 days, is that cool? I'd be like, yeah, was it funny? was it a good joke? I'm cool with it.
I'll take it. Actually, kind of not a good segue because I already ruined it.
All of these are bad.
PlayStation had Paris's game. Their what am I trying to say? They announced a bunch of games.
I don't know.
Sony did this morning.
Oh, they had like a Paris press conference?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna move into video games now.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Because can I have this one real quick?
Well, I feel like. Are you going to talk about Sony?
Yeah, it has to do with something that got revealed, and it has to do with something that I'm specifically excited about.
Oh, okay.
Guacamelee 2 got announced.
Oh, I haven't played the first one.
It's good. It's really good. And they're doing like a time skip thing. It's like 7 years after the original story. But I really like the visual style, obviously, but I also like the lore of the universe, where it's basically all luchadors are basically like the knights of this world, and they're like they're extremely noble and like superhuman, and fighting the undead and stuff like that. But I think I don't know if they've got a new young character, but it still has the same main characters. They're just older now.
Is it only on PS4?
Probably not. It might have like an early release only on PS4, like the original one did. It was it was on PS3 first.
It's making its debut on the PlayStation 4.
Yeah, and then eventually it ended up on every system under the sun.
Gotta love that timed exclusivity.
Yeah.
Gonna make me go buy a PS4.
You should never love. I can't even joke about it. But yeah, God, it looks so gorgeous. Like it looks like Rayman Legends tier, and it's coming from an indie studio, and that is just, God, that makes me happy. It looks so freaking good.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. The one I was excited for, the only one I was excited for, because I've never played Guacamelee, is Ghost of Tsushima. It's by the guys who did Infamous. But it's
Oh, for real? I didn't see anything about that one.
Yeah. Open world adventure that is incredibly stylized action set in what looks like feudal era Japan.
I'm looking at it now. Holy crap.
Yeah, it looks good.
I am so excited for this. This looks sick. And yeah, it's Sucker Punch. We finally know what they've been working on. They went dark ever since Second Son came out.
Time to buy PS4.
Yeah. No, if I wasn't going to get it already, I'm getting it now.
Yeah, I've already decided I'm getting one, so it's not
Oh my gosh. I did see The Last of Us Part 2 trailer, but I don't know. Care. I don't care either. I liked The Last of Us. It was a good game.
Same.
Felt like it should have ended there. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure what they can add to the gameplay that would justify a sequel.
It's that, well, I think they're going to go more for it's about the story, which is fine because the set pieces and the story were incredible, but the only way I would approve of an Uncharted 2 was if Joel is already dead.
You mean The Last of Us 2?
What did I say?
You said Uncharted 2.
Oh, yeah, The Last of Us 2 is if Joel is already dead. It starts the game and Joel's already dead.
Yeah.
You can have little flashback segments, that's fun, but it needs to be about Ellie, not about Joel again. Who cares?
There were man, I remember when The Last of Us was doing its whole marketing push, and people were talking about the big controversy because that just before that, BioShock Infinite, they were saying it's not about Booker, it's about what was her name?
Elizabeth.
They're like, it's a game about Elizabeth, and I'm like, that's a good sentiment. And Ken Levine was upset that they had just made the cover with Booker because it was kind of generic looking.
Yeah, it was.
But the game is also very much about Booker. Not to spoil anything, it is very much about him. It's about him and her. But then people were saying with The Last of Us, because Ellie featured more heavily on the cover than Joel did, they're saying it's a game really about Ellie. And I'm like, man, that is a disservice to Joel's story, which is really good.
Absolutely.
Joel's story is what hooked me. in The Last of Us. And that's not just because I always love the gristled, cynical, like 50-year-old guy like in the Apocalypse. That's just because... Okay, maybe that is what it is. Maybe that's exactly what it is. I just love that character, and I love how he was handled. But
I would love to see a live action with Hugh Jackman and the girl who played X-23, because they had really good chemistry.
Basically.
Like, I would totally be like
the
absolutely
Logan of
okay
us.
for that. The Logan of us, yeah. Well, I'm gonna figure out what that girl's name is, because I feel like that's insulting, because she had a good performance.
Is she gonna be in James Mangold's X-23 movie, or do you think they're probably casting older?
I'm thinking it'll probably take at least another 3 years, 2 or 3 years before, at least 2 years before they start it. So by the time they finish it, she'll probably be like old enough to be the teenage her.
Okay, that would be pretty sweet, because she was a really good actress.
I'm hoping, because Daphne Keane is her name.
Okay, yeah.
Let's see, she is Daphne Keane. I can't spell. She's 4'11". That doesn't help. You curious about her height? 4'11".
Now you know.
She was born in 2005, so she's 12 now. So yeah, she'd be like... Oh wait, yeah, so she'd be like 15 by the time the movie happened.
Yeah, that's old enough to be like a coming of age, like her becoming a superhero type of deal. I'm excited for that.
Same. Back to Sony. Most of the games they announced are all VR games, so
yeah,
not excited about that. They introduced a hero shooter that is in VR, and I was like, that could be interesting. I guess. Maybe.
I guess.
But at the same time, like when we played the VR at that arcade, like we played that Mech game or whatever it was, and I was like, this is just annoying. Like this just hurts my head.
Yeah, every game that uses the VR is held back by the VR.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what games I think would really work in VR are like drama games, like
Until Dawn,
Beyond Two Souls, or like Until Dawn was just like an on-rail thing, but I'm saying like if you did like VR with, I mean, you'd have to hold the controller in your hand. Like,
dude, VR with LA Noire, I feel like that could work. If you were like in his position, sitting there in the chair, and you got to read their facial expressions that way, it would be less cinematic. But I think that could be a fun thing. Yeah,
the interviews would work, but the shooting,
the gameplay, no, God.
That's why I'm saying games like Heavy Rain and like that's where they need to start. The focus is that they need to start focusing on immersive experiences that like puts you in the movie.
The more of a game your game is, the less suited for VR it becomes.
Yep, pretty much. That's a good way to talk about it.
Kinda like Kinect was.
Oh, they finally, yeah.
Oh yeah, Kinect finally ended production.
RIP.
We finally stopped living the lie, which I thought must have happened forever ago. I thought it must have been canceled.
I did too. Like I thought, I didn't think they were making them.
They had stopped bundling it with the Xbox One like 2 years ago, so I couldn't have imagined they were getting any return on that investment.
This article is just called "Connect: 7 Years of Strange Experiments." I like the idea, but like it doesn't work.
Sure, same with VR.
Yeah, like it sounds like it would be a thing to do, but it's not. It's just not a thing to do.
I still would rather mash X and Y to perform combos.
Yeah, I mean there are a lot of things that they use the Kinect for that like outside of gaming. Like I know Nine Inch Nails uses it a lot in their concerts. And
as motion capture, it's basically the greatest motion capture breakthrough we've had since the mocap suit was perfected, because you can get almost perfect motion capture without putting the friggin' suit on. It's kind of amazing.
And then it just doesn't work for video games.
Yeah. It could be used for making video games. Totally. And at less of a budget than building an entire mocap studio. But that's like getting a degree and then not only being able to get a job in the things outside of your field of study, but you turn out to be really good at them.
Yeah.
Just college was kind of a waste, but no, this is good. This is all right.
That's basically my life story at this point. They're like, man,
I can't wait. I'm gonna learn here in a few months.
All those 4 years of college really helped me out in this field that has nothing to do with anything I took. I don't know, architecture, I guess, that one semester. But other than that,
yeah. Other than that,
no, nothing. I'm not being helped.
Not much. Back on the game stuff and what was shown and talked about at the Sony conference, Monster Hunter World is going to get a beta that's only on the PS4, and then it's also going to include Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn as like an armor set. You can look like her and like get her bow and arrow. Yeah, it looks really cool, and they're gonna have some. I'm guessing because this is the way Monster Hunter does like crossover DLC. They'll have like a couple missions that will like try to recreate some kind of scenario from one of their games. Like they did the same thing with Link's armor and like a Zelda themed mission in Monster Hunter Generations and Samus's stuff. But I'm hoping that this means that the PS4 won't be the only one getting some exclusive costumes and stuff. I hope the Xbox One version gets something to that effect. And well, maybe like Microsoft will get. Okay, basically, I want to see Master Chief armor in Monster Hunter. That's all I want. I was going to say,
yeah, it would have to be Master Chief.
I'm going to cut to the chase.
There's nothing else that's. I was just back to our trying to name Xbox One exclusives.
Yeah, I want Master Chief armor in Monster Hunter, and I want to have a bowgun class that is the turret, and I want to have a hammer class that is the gravity hammer, and an energy sword in place of. Well, I mean,
you asked trying
to think of something comparable. Best. If I have to pick one, I want the hammer. I want the gravity hammer with actually like a hammer weapon. It would be the coolest thing that I can even imagine.
I'd be down with that.
I mean, we got Samus with an arm cannon in Monster Hunter Generations, so I don't think it's too much to ask for. But yeah, that's pretty exciting to me. They showed more God of War, and it still looks bad.
Speaking of disappointments, Nintendo Switch is set to outsell the Wii U in just 1 year.
Oh yeah, well that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, but I mean the Wii U was such a good console that
it
had
is,
nothing going for it.
It's
which I don't hate the Switch either. After I played Gears for a little bit, I wasn't uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable when I have to put it on the little controller.
When you have to hold the Joy-Cons on their own or put them in the little holder, it's not there. It's not good enough.
But holding it next to the screen lets you when they're connected to the screen, you can spread your fingers out along the back of the Switch. So
it feels like a bigger PS Vita at that point. So yeah,
PS Vita.
That's good stuff. Good humor.
I'm relating to the kids, Tim. The kids that I don't want to watch this podcast.
Yeah, because kids are dumb.
Yeet. Skirt.
Bouncing off of disappointments, things that are surprisingly not horrible, until we find out the reason they are horrible. But GameStop, we were talking about this the other day, talking about how, Blockbuster's gone and how unfortunate it is and how, Redbox just doesn't cut it with game rentals.
Not at all.
It just doesn't. GameStop announces rental program, and it's called GameStop Power Pass.
That's awesome.
It's $60. You get it for 6 months, and you can pick up any pre-owned game that you want in the store, and then return it and swap it out for another one for the period of 6 months.
Any pre-owned game.
Yes, and at the end, you can choose any pre-owned game in the store to keep.
So, okay, well, here's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
At the end of that 6 months, I'm going to wait until, you have to plan it out. But let's say Halo 6 is coming out at the end of that 6 months.
Okay, you can
it's been out for
the system.
Yeah, but if it's been, out for, 3 days, someone has already returned it, because that's what happens.
Yeah, totally.
Can I take Halo 6? Because that seems like it would... I feel like there's going to be a time limit. The game can't have been out for more than 2 months or something. Or has to have been out for longer than 2 months or something.
Well,
I guess not though. They're not really losing their 60. They're still getting the 60.
You've already given them the $60, so yeah.
I may actually start using GameStop again.
Yeah, like this gets me in their door, and until we find out some kind of catch like you were describing, or I mean, even then that wouldn't be too big of a catch in my opinion.
It would let me get games that I hadn't played.
Once again, this is like the video game version of Movie Pass.
Yeah, Power Pass. I'm just looking it up just to get more.
I think this is a great idea. I'm excited for this. I don't know when they're going to start this.
The week of November 13th.
Sign-ups begin on November 19th.
What?
Wait.
What? It says, according to GameStop, the new service will be available to purchase the week of November... Oh, that's probably November 19th.
Yeah, it says on the GameSpot article, signups begin November 19th. It says, Power Pass can be bought as a gift, though be aware that the recipient will need to have a Power Up Rewards account. Nah, that's not worth.
Yeah. I don't even... How much are there?
They're free. They're not worth free.
Oh.
Although...
That's pretty cool, though. I mean...
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That is uncharacteristically awesome from basically the reason video game retail is garbage now.
Okay, so hold on.
Alright.
Looking closer at the finer print, the only catches are that you need to be a member of GameStop's Power Up Rewards program to sign up. The free version of that membership works fine, and that you'll be limited to whatever used games are available at your local GameStop. So you'll be locked into whatever GameStop.
I got like 4 local GameStops around me. How am I supposed to pick?
I guess I'll just pick
the biggest one, yeah.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that makes sense, but I think it would make more sense to me if they locked it by zip code. Because the closest one to me is like out of my zip code.
Oh.
It's like in Rome.
I'm guessing you pick one before you sign up.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, well,
whichever one you sign up at is probably the one. Which I get that, because you definitely don't want to be like renting a game, or if for GameStop, you don't want someone renting a game at one store and then returning it like 3 states over, because then that hurts that original store. Like,
yeah, it's kind of an inconvenience.
Okay, GameStop. You might be coming back.
You might be all right.
That's weird how we were just talking about how bad GameStop is.
Yeah,
this past weekend.
If you talk about GameStop, that's what you talk about.
Yeah,
nothing else to talk about until now.
But it is weird that we were vilifying GameStop, also talking about how much we miss Blockbuster.
Yeah.
And then GameStop is like, we heard.
You want to talk about having your finger on the pulse. GameStop got spies out there keeping themselves up to date on what the people want. Well, I mean, I guess they just started this a couple days ago, because they haven't for the past 20-something years. But,
yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while since they used to host like sweet like midnight like Halo tournaments and stuff. Like, maybe dude,
I remember the tournament era. I don't think they've done that at all. At least not anywhere near where I live. Like, I remember they had they had Smash Brothers tournaments back in the day. I went to a couple. They don't do that anymore.
Oh yeah, they don't do just regular tournaments. I'm gonna go to the Halo 6 midnight release. Because I didn't go to the one... Halo 5 is the only Halo game that it took me like a month or so to buy it.
Yeah, to get around to it.
Mainly because a lot of the earlier reviews were like, this is like really short and kind of bad. So,
and there was no split screen, so that deflated a lot of my enthusiasm.
Actually, I think that was probably one of the biggest... I actually had forgotten about that. I don't know how.
Because every other Halo midnight release that I ever went to, starting with the second one and up to 4, I knew that me and the friends I was with were going to get the game, go home, and stay up until like 6 a.m. playing split screen.
Yeah,
that happened every single time, and that just wasn't an option with 5. Like, I remember 4 came out, and I didn't even live near the friends that I was doing the midnight release thing with. I like traveled. If I'm not mistaken, I like skipped school, skipped classes to be able to go do that. So like I would have made time, even though I'm like way out of the way these days. If Halo 5 had split screen, I would have made time and like gone down to you guys.
Yeah, I would definitely. If Halo 6, I may actually do that. We may need to all get together.
Yeah.
And plan that out.
Because we know it's going to have split screen. They're not going to have a choice.
Yeah, 343 will actually burn if they don't have... I don't know what would happen.
The death toll will rise, is what will happen.
Significantly. Speaking of older games, I guess, well, just Halo in general. Assassin's Creed Origins, even with its loot box system, is supposedly the best one.
Is it?
A long time.
Really? Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, they're saying it's like revamped.
Better than Black Flag?
Which, I mean, yeah, they took like an extra year to...
Yeah, it kind of better be.
To do it, so like...
Is it better than Black Flag?
I don't know. Some people don't like Black Flag, so I don't.
Some
know
people
how
are
to
wrong.
trust.
So...
Yeah, agreed.
if the people who didn't like Black Flag are liking Origins, then it probably has nothing for me.
I don't know.
Just
I
because...
haven't talked to anyone like in person that's played it, but like a bunch of the reviews, it said that Ubisoft basically came out and was like, "We're basically trying to copy The Witcher 3, like." Not copy it directly, but they said they took heavy inspiration.
It's not a bad idea.
Means they just not at all.
I mean, that's what Breath of the Wild did, and man, that really paid off for them.
Well, it looks like incredible. Like the game, like Origins looks like.
Oh yeah, graphics wise, it's nuts.
Incredible, yeah. It's saying the map for how big it is, it's pretty easy to navigate. The climbing, they said they've fine tuned it, so it's not as bad.
Well, that's good.
Thankfully.
I think the reason I liked Black Flag the most was that it was the one where you spent the least amount of time playing Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Out of all of the Assassin's Creed games, so that's why I'm like, does it have boats? I gotta be skeptical if it doesn't have boats. And
the world itself. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Ubisoft is basically making a separate game now that is essentially Assassin's Creed 4's like boats kind of stuff. I can't remember what it's called. Is it called
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It's called like Skull and Crossbones or something. It's a pirate game, but
what that was.
I feel like that's the one that I'll be waiting on. That's the one that I'm going to jump onto. But who knows? Maybe with the GameStop Power Pass, I could give Assassin's Creed Origins a rent and see if I like it.
Skull and Bones is what it's called. Yeah, I'm definitely going to jump on that GameStop thing. That's a pretty good deal. I mean,
I could also get the now it's got a release date. It's the Switch version of Rocket League coming out on November 14th, and it's $20. And it has crossplay with the Xbox One, and it's just like, man, Sony,
yeah,
Nintendo and Xbox are hanging out. You're just shutting yourself out in the cold, but out of spite. Because you're petty.
Pure, like, I get their strategy, but it doesn't make as much sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it would. We've talked about it before. Destiny 2 released on the PC, and people are just getting banned.
Oh yeah,
for absolutely no reason, and Bungie is just being like,
they're just denying
worst. It. Yeah,
Bungie straight up saying you're liars.
No, they're not even saying that. They're saying that. Oh, I mean, they are. They're saying that. It has nothing to do with your background apps. But they've also come out and been like, to be banned, someone at Bungie has to manually ban you. So it's like, why is everyone being banned then? Like,
yeah, there's someone who's working in your department is just maliciously banning every single user, and there were people that were like setting up experiments, saying, "All right, completely clean slate. I've got nothing running on my computer. The only thing I have is Destiny 2. And they're like getting banned within hours. And I'm not cheating. There's nothing I'm doing. And the thing about the bans is that they banned the game permanently from that device. It's not just the account. Well, it's the account and bans. Like the computer that you're on.
Yeah, there's two bans. One is an account and one is the device. But most of the ones that are happening are device bans. So it's like.
That's messed up. It's like, oh, better go buy a new computer.
And they're not like
for the $60.
Reversing any of the bans. Like I think they reversed like 4 total.
Yeah, they reversed a handful, as they called it, which was 4. And I'm sorry, in the grand scheme, that's a tiny little hand.
Yeah, like I can't believe that's happening though. And that's insane.
And I like how they, reversed 4 of the bans after like making this big, angry defensive statement saying, "No, all of these were justified." Like we did them manually. Also, we had to reverse 4 of those. They weren't legit.
Yeah, okay, so bans were applied to players who were using tools that pose a threat to the shared ecosystem of the game. What?
That would, well, I mean, I would assume that would just be cheat software.
Yeah, but it's not. It's just anything, apparently.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, if I'm looking at it as, like, what their words mean, it was like, that would have to be, you know, like, an aimbot or something to mess with the code to, like, give you better drops or something like that. But apparently, like, people are experimenting and saying, you're just lying, though.
Dude, how did Bungie go from Halo to... I mean, I know it's not the same people. Like, it's mostly not the same people.
I was going to say, being a different group of people entirely is what did it.
It's still just insane to me that, like...
How the mighty have fallen.
Oh, well. That's sad. What was the other thing we were going to... There was one other thing I was going to mention. Mass Effect.
Oh, yeah, Mass Effect.
So EA not only closed
the
Visceral,
angels
but
they are.
They also closed BioWare Montreal, which was responsible for Andromeda.
Yeah.
But apparently there was a pretty big, like, DLC promised that they were just like, nah, we're canceling that. But, like, apparently that thread is open, like, in the actual game. So, like, there's still that, like, question, like...
Yeah, not all of the story gets solved because it was going to get solved in the expansions, but they canceled the expansions. So the people that care about the story are like, what?
Yeah,
and
like...
then...
So apparently they're releasing a novel that answers what happens on the arc of something. I can't remember what it's called. I didn't play it.
That novel better not be more expensive than the DLC was going to be. I swear.
I mean, it'll be like... Hardcover is going to be like $17, and paperback's going to be like $9. Tim doesn't read, so it's very understanding that he doesn't know the price.
I don't know how much books cost.
But yeah, apparently, and so like people were pissed.
Yeah,
like rightfully so. Like they were like getting super mad, but they were like taking that on the wrong person. Like they were threatening the author.
Oh yeah, man! If there's anyone who don't know how to direct their rage, it's people.
And she just came out and was like, I'm just as pissed as you guys are. Like, I really wanted that. She's like, I can't really go into, like, the details of the story because of, like, the thing. She's like, but just know that, like, I campaigned to write this book for, like, 2 years. Like, I've, like, you know, or not 2 years, however long the game's been out. But she's like, I've been campaigning to, like, write books for Mass Effect because of my love for it. So she's like, it's, like, the lore is in safe hands. Like, I promise. Like, I'm not going to make any, like, you know.
Also, it's not her fault that the expansion got canceled.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you're yelling at the wrong person. Like, how in the world is it even close to... And she was saying that, like, the book was not the plan from the... Like, that's not what the plan was. God, people are so dumb.
Yeah.
Like, I would never attack, like, the author of something.
Yeah. Well, we don't have much time left. Yeah, so do you want to start the Halloween stuff? We're talking about what's our favorite Halloween movie, or rather, what's our favorite movie to watch around Halloween?
Yeah. The Saw movies, since we already discussed them.
Okay, you can go into detail.
I don't like the first one. It's just boring. It's just a bunch of yelling back and forth at each other, and like once I don't want to spoil it, but once it's over, like. It's okay. It was very enjoyable the first time I watched it. It is less enjoyable the second time I watched it.
And I don't think it's aged well. I tried watching it and I couldn't. I couldn't keep my interest. And like the camera work and that way of acting is definitely a product of the time. And it's weird seeing that kind of stuff pop up because it's like, when did Saw come out?
That way of acting, you mean the no acting that they do?
Well, that kind of like low budget horror movie acting that is distinctive from low budget 80s or 90s horror movie acting. Like, it was a different kind of thing that I'm starting to notice, which makes me feel old. But it makes those movies feel old, where it's like, oh man, I remember when everything sounded like this. It's not good anymore.
Danny Glover being in Saw 1 is probably the highlight in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I'm on Saw. I just finished Saw 3, so I've still got a 4, 5, 6, and the final chapter, and then eventually Jigsaw. But
I think it was... Huh?
Go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, I think it was... I can't remember if it was 5 or 4 that I actually, like, was surprised how much I liked, because I was going in expecting it to be terrible.
Well, yeah. That's fair. What happens? Which one is it? Like, do you remember anything about the...
I'm trying to.
One of them has a very memorable ending.
That might have been the one, because I like memorable endings. I'm not going to remember it. I'm going to have to actually go watch it.
Yeah. No, I always saw Halloween Town, obviously.
Oh, yeah. I love watching Halloween Town.
I normally rotate every year. I'll watch... I'll either watch all the Saw movies, or I'll watch all the Friday the 13th, or I'll watch all the Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, I normally binge my way through one of those.
I still haven't seen all of the movies in any of those franchises. I feel like I actually want to see all of them in Friday the 13th. Just because I feel like
that's probably the one you want to see the least amount of movies of.
No, but see, that's why I think I do.
No, like, some of them are just bad. Like,
I know.
They're not even good. No, they're not good bad.
Oh,
they're just like,
okay.
They're just like terrible.
Okay, well, I mean, I can realistically see that being the case.
Yeah, like, but Nightmare on Elm Street doesn't do that. They all stay pretty fun, but it's because he's like a funner. Yeah,
they kind of adapted it to make it more of a comedy.
I mean, okay, the worst Friday the 13th, in my opinion, is Jason Takes Manhattan. Because what do you think that movie's about? Jason
taking Manhattan?
Yeah, like, you think he's in the city, right?
I would assume, but I can't wait for this.
Nope, definitely not. For like 10 minutes at the very end.
What?
Like, he's literally like on a ferry, and then like the last 10 minutes is him in New York.
Talk about the motion comic prequel to the movie.
Yeah, then there's the one where like the little girl is psychic, and she uses her psychic powers to fight Jason. I think that's Jason Lives Again.
Ooh, man, that's pretty nuts.
Jason Goes to Hell. Everyone like craps on Jason X. That's like my favorite.
Yeah, I've heard Jason X is actually a pretty dang good time.
Yeah, like, I have a ton of fun with it. People are like, oh, it's just stupid, Jason in space. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I guess the other 12 movies before this one were just perfect.
Yeah, or see,
I'm movies.
I'm one of those people where it's like blank in space. I'm already affording it probably more than it deserves, but
oh yeah,
in space means it's like the absolute madmen are doing it.
Well, the thing is too with the Friday the 13th movies is like I love them, but none of them are actually good.
Not even like 2?
No, like 1 and 2, like none of them are like objectively good films. Like the first one's just cheap and like you can tell it was amateurish, but I mean it's good for what it is. But
yeah,
like,
I think that's why people give the original the most affordances to in that way.
Like in my opinion, the original Nightmare on Elm Street is a good movie.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like like The Evil Dead, even for all its faults, it's like okay, The Evil Dead 2 is a good movie.
Yes.
But like none of the Friday the 13th strike me that way. They're all just kind of like there's not much to these.
Yeah. Which that's related to what I like to watch every Halloween is Evil Dead 1, and I think I'm going to watch Evil Dead 2 just because well the good thing about
reason?
Oh well yeah, I don't think I need a reason, but I watched the first one. I'm probably going to watch the remake because I love the remake. It's one of my favorite horror films ever. And I love The Thing. I love watching that every year. And I think I'm noticing a pattern. I like horror films where people are stuck in a place where they can't trust each other.
Yeah,
like
I
possession
like that too.
or infection. I love that idea. I love the idea of who's gonna get affected by it next? You know, who's a deadite or who is the thing? I love that. Like I don't know. I don't know what it is, but that's like my favorite kind of horror film. And
it is to mine.
Yeah.
It is to mine too, but I mean, I do like that, but it also stresses me out sometimes if it's done too well. Like if it's done really well, I'm just like, man, this is just stress. I'm like, I'm too concerned with who's gonna do what.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
But I have no examples, but I know it's happened to me before.
That's kind of relieved when you've seen the movie a few times, though. You're kind of just Yeah, like
yeah,
you're there.
You already know it.
Yeah, and like the thing is infinitely rewatchable because, and this isn't just because I've watched it almost every year that I like haven't necessarily noticed, but its effects are still perfect. Like, they've aged incredibly well. They still look phenomenal, and I've seen that in action when I show it to people who've never seen it before, and they see it like in this day and age, and they're like, "This looks like amazing." Like, I've witnessed cheering when the legs pop out of that severed head. Like, I've seen people just be like, "Oh my god, that's like genius," and it looks amazing. Yeah, I think The Thing is probably some of the most fun I've ever had watching a movie, and it's consistently fun. Like, The Thing is like, okay, well, The Evil Dead and The Thing are both like Tommy Boy was for me. Like, I can watch Tommy Boy a million times and I'm still enjoying it. Both The Evil Dead and The Thing are the same way. Like, I could even go watch them again right now, and I'd still have a great time. I just watched The Thing on Friday, and I watched The Evil Dead on, like, Wednesday. I could watch them right now, and I'd still be having the time of my life.
Oh, yeah. I think I've seen the original Evil Dead, like, I don't even know. Sometimes I'll just watch it back to back. I'll just put on, like, if I'm writing something or if I'm, like, doing something, I'll just put it on and just be like, if I look up and see, like, a dead-eye getting killed, I'll be happy.
Yeah, I've seen it at least more than 20 times, that's for sure. Like, there's that threshold where I've seen a movie at least 20 times that it's like it just passes into some number that at this point it doesn't matter. It's like I've seen it a lot.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite, I love The Thing. It's probably one of my favorite horror movies. I have a top 5.
Yeah.
But I think one of my favorite lines in any horror movie is when that little, like, the thing, like, spider crawls away one part and the guy just turns around and he's just like, "You've got to be effing kidding me." I was like, that's such, like, a real reaction. Like,
I know. It's such a great moment. And then there's also when they're testing everyone's blood.
Oh, yeah.
And they get to the last guy. What was his name? Is it Sergeant something? It's the guy who had the revolver at the beginning of the movie.
I can't remember.
Was it Giles?
I'm terrible at names.
Yeah, I am too. And it's funny because that scene has all of their names written on a petri dish for us to read, but I can't remember them.
Let's see, there's Palmer, there's Windows.
It wasn't Windows.
Palmer is the one that turns. I remember that.
Yeah. It's the guy in, like, the military getup. Like,
yeah.
That guy. He's the last one that's tied up. Like, Keith David is now holding, like, the petri dish for them to test, and it's after all the other stuff has gone down. He's the only one still tied to the chair. They test it, and he isn't the thing, and he's just like, I know this has been tough for everyone, but could you please untie me from this fucking chair?
Oh, yeah.
Like, that. I love that part. There's so much to love about the movie. Yeah.
I need to play the sequel, the game.
I do too. Yeah.
It's a canon sequel.
Mm-hmm. Unlike is the prequel technically canon?
I think it is. I think it's still canon. And what sucks is it's actually a pretty good movie outside of all the crappy CGI.
Yeah, it's just disappointing because of that.
Yeah, like, if it had been, like, I've seen, like, the original, like, effects. Like, they were going to do all practical effects, and the studio was like, no, it's taking, it's too expensive, it takes too long.
Yeah, I think I know why. I think it's because 2 or 3 years before it came out, or even, like, right around that time, Avatar had made CGI so popular in Hollywood. That was, like, when everything just started. That was the final nail in the coffin for practical effects. Avatar was a huge success, so now studios were like, I don't care if we have the time to spend that Avatar did, or, like, the artistic direction, everything's going to be CGI from now on.
Yeah, well, in the documentary I watched, it's that and the fact that they went to, like, the producers or whatever or the studio heads would, like, go and, like, look at the practical effects in person. Mm-hmm. And they'd be like, oh, yeah, it looks great from this angle, but, like, back here it doesn't look good. And, like, if you look at it from here, it doesn't look good. And they're like, yeah.
Well, then we don't shoot it from that angle.
Yeah, like, idiot. Don't film it from that angle. But, like, that was one of their big problems with it, was it didn't look
I think that's them like looking for a reason to nitpick, which
Yeah.
that's realistic.
studio
Like that
heads,
happens
so,
all the
yeah.
time.
I'd be upset about it.
It's unfortunate. Dang old unfortunate.
It is a good movie though. And Cube. I'll normally watch Cube around Halloween.
I haven't seen Cube.
It's about this big
I've
cube.
heard it's fantastic though.
Yeah. It's about this big cube. It's almost like Saw. It's almost what Saw became with all its different deadly traps and stuff, but like basically these people wake up in this like ever revolving cube, and like the rooms are always switching, and like some of the rooms are like deadly traps. Like some of them
Is it kind of like a sci-fi horror?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's like
I'm down.
The effects aren't that great because it was like in 2001 that it was made.
Yeah.
But it's still well worth it to me. Like like one of the characters is like a savant, and like each of the cubes has like a number written on it, and so then they have to like figure out like what the code to like know if a room's safe or not.
Well, good thing he wasn't around. Dang.
Well, it's kind of all planned. It's like you don't get any good answers to what the cube is in the first one, but the second one explains what it is at the end of it.
I was watching.
You could basically guess. I mean.
Yeah. I was watching a video from Stuart Ashens. He's this British like tech review guy, but he does these things where he's like goes to these like budget media, like used media entertainment stores, and like just like buys a bunch of junk, and we'll talk about it. But he did this thing, and it was like you give them $10, and they give you like just a bunch of caseless discs.
Yeah.
Like not even like these are DVDs or these are CDs. It's like it's anything that's a disc. They're just throwing in a box, and they're like, all right, there you go. And in one of them, he found Cube, and he was like, hang on. It's like, this is my favorite movie that I completely forgot about until just now. He's like, I'm going to go watch this after this is over. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. I need to go see that.
Yeah, I like it. I don't know how most people... I mean, I feel like it's one of those cult like classics.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what movie? What is that movie called?
Don't know.
A movie about. I'm pretty sure it was not that good of a movie. Stay Alive.
Oh, dude, I loved Stay Alive as bad as it was.
Okay, see, was it bad? Because I don't remember.
It was bad. It was really bad. I saw it in the right context, though. Like I saw it with just a bunch of friends.
I remember I liked...
Frankie Muniz is in it.
Yeah, and one of the McPoyle brothers from Always Sunny. I remember that.
Huh. I don't know that. But it's where if you die in the game, you die in real life. It's what that's from. And it wasn't just like, if you die in the game, you die in real life. It was the way you died in the game is the way you die in real life. And I think the best part of the movie was how many references they make to other horror games. Like, they reference Fatal Frame and Silent Hill and Resident Evil and stuff like that. Those are the best parts. Those are why I like the movie so much, because I'm a nerd.
I'm going to watch it again. I feel like...
Yeah, it deserves it.
Yeah.
It's silly enough to be owed that.
I'm going to watch the unrated director's cut.
Oh, man, I haven't seen that one.
I'm going to get edgy.
I remember the DVD that we rented... They made it look like the game in the movie, which was like an unmarked
awesome. disc
with Stay Alive markered onto it. It was really cool.
Yeah, I'd be like, y'all gave me the wrong disc. This is the real thing, and I don't want the real thing.
Yeah, no. If I play this, I'm gonna die like I did in real life. I think it would have been, yeah.
I was gonna say, anyone listening to this podcast is already gonna bite the dust on it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So yeah, don't worry about it. Heh.
Ghost Ship was pretty good.
I never saw Ghost Ship, but I've heard that you like it, and that's about the only person I've ever heard talk about it.
It's got some good violent scenes in it. It's not apparently the Blu-ray only came out internationally.
So, meaning not in the U.S.?
Wait, where did this come out? It says this will not play on Blu-ray players sold in North America, Central America, South America, Japan, North Korea, South Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Southeast Asia.
So only in Europe.
Why? Is Ghost Ship a popular movie in Europe?
Well, it's clearly not popular here or in Asia.
People were just big fans in Europe. Oh, here's I can just get a triple feature that has it on it.
What's the other two movies?
House of Wax, the remake, which was okay, and then Return to House on Haunted Hill, which I never saw. So, triple features are the way to go, though.
Yeah, like with horror films and with kung fu movies, that's where it's at.
Oh yeah, especially kung fu movies. I used to buy those like 30 packs.
Jan has like 4.
Just like 30 random kung fu movies, and
I'm pretty sure
awful.
I'm pretty sure there's some overlap in some of the collections he has, but there's literally no thought put into it. If Jan sees something like that on a store shelf, he buys it without reading anything on the back.
Jan's just an impulse buyer.
Well, with that, he certainly is.
Oh, he's in
Thailand. He's putting his money where his mouth is, but putting his money where his fists are. He's gonna learn to be a master of Muay Thai. That's the only discernible reason I can think of him going there.
He talked about wanting to like find a Muay Thai gym and see if he could like do like a class, like one, just like train like one day. I'd be like, dude, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, it would.
Anyway, so that's Happy Halloween, Tim.
Oh yeah, Happy Halloween. There was something else I was gonna say. Like the other movies I watch every year is there's Nightmare Before Christmas, which I just watched last night, and the Cartoon Network miniseries that was done, I think, in 2015. They aired it for like a whole week. Yeah, Over the Garden Wall.
I need to watch that still.
Is 10-minute episodes, and I think there's it's on YouTube with all of them right in a row, which, in my opinion, is the way to watch it.
I don't think so.
Oh, it isn't?
No, because I tried to watch it when you told me about it the first time.
Oh, it's a shame. It was on there when I watched.
I lied.
Well, it might be. It wouldn't be on mobile.
I lied right to your face.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, wait. It looks like episode 7 is missing.
Oh, that's strange. I don't even remember what happened specifically in episode 7. However, but yeah.
Oh, wait. Yeah, it's all on YouTube, but it's in that bullcrap they do where it's like just like a quarter of this YouTube screen.
Oh, yeah, it's to keep the bot from finding it. Well, Anyway, if there's any... I always find a way to watch Over the Garden Wall, and it's really good.
I think I'm gonna find a way right now.
I think it's unfortunately not as popular as it should have been. It was critically it was a smash hit, but
there's a comic series based on.
Oh,
it.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Cool. I know that they were trying to get it made for a long time, and they even had like a pilot with the same characters that never got aired. But the person that owns the property was trying to get it to happen for a long time, and then it happened. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I need to watch it. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else?
Well, we're coming up on a good.
This is our hour 20-minute. Well, some of it's going to be cut out for the YouTube.
It's true.
So.
But I don't have nothing else to talk about.
No, I don't either. Daisy Ridley was very moved by Ray's parents reveal. Turns out it's just her actual parents.
Oh, they just brought her actual parents onto the set, and they're like, "Hey, guess what?
These are your parents.
These are your parents." And she's like, "Yes." They're like Ray's parents. Oh, really? That's interesting.
Like same characters, or they're playing? No, it's them. Oh,
she's like, I'm
what
do you
moved.
mean by that? She was saying it sarcastically.
Yeah.
Oh, I moved.
Thank you.
What is going on? Mom, Dad, do you know what's going on? They're like, hey, we just wanted to come see you.
Oh, I actually have 2 interesting things.
Oh, do them real quick.
Blade Runner 2049, the hologram fight that I told you that Jan missed was almost cut out of the movie, which would have been a shame. Yeah. And then Thor Ragnarok failed miserably in its early cuts. Like apparently it was according to what's his name, Tiki Tadahiti, whatever his name is. Taika Waititi. Waititi, yeah.
That name is a wild ride.
But apparently, yeah, the Thor 3 has changed a lot over. Apparently, like, one of the earlier drafts they turned in was, like, awful. Had a funny first 10 minutes and then a super boring rest of the movie.
Well, that's definitely not what we're hearing about it now. We're hearing that it is a dang old thrill ride. So. And
Kevin Feige says he wants him back. Wants Waititi back to do another Thor movie.
Sweet. Well, I guess that means this is the last Thor film.
Well, it may not have said another Thor movie. He may have just said another Marvel movie. But
okay, cool.
I don't think Thor is going to die. I think it'll be Captain America or Tony Stark.
Yeah. I think
Captain America makes most sense because his contract is almost up, and they're already starting the. They just started the Tony Stark being Peter Parker's like father figure.
Yeah. So
it'd feel really weird to kill him like this soon after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But could be something.
Look at that! Look at that! Superheroes and comic book movies made it into the podcast regardless.
Boom.
Happen every time. All right. That's our contract.
That's it. We get paid $1 billion.
Wow. Okay. I'm quitting YouTube.
Oh, you don't get paid. I get paid.
Oh,
sorry.
Oh.
I meant to say I get paid.
Okay, that makes sense.
But I don't actually get paid. I actually do get paid. All right. Well, I'm good with that.
That's the end of episode 21 into the Halloween special.
Happy Halloween.